whenever you are ready.
All right, this is our analysis on the situation of women's education in Pakistan.
Okay, so one of the problems in Pakistan is women receive a lot of violence, and this is due to being unequal with men. And as shown in the book Malala, whenever a baby is born, a man is like better than a woman. So a woman is like seen as a disgrace.
Due to men not wanting women to endure an equal education, women cannot get a proper workforce, and this would cause them to not provide for themselves. Then the man would have to take care of the woman. This is not by a woman's choice. This is because of low and unfinished education.
Is this possible from a government side? It isn't. The government's too corrupt first. Wren identified this in the 50s, as shown by Punjab judge Ace and Chima, NDU lecturer Mariam Fatima, and assistant professor Muhammad, last student in their paper, Pakistan, Anti-Corruption Legal Regime, Historic Political Ragtag. Pakistan also contributed to the Taliban with Pakistani and Arab fighters, shown by Akhtar Nasreen, the State York Uni Health Department worker. Also, government religion can be manipulated way too easy. Malala Yousafzai showed this in her book, I Am Malala, when she wrote about how the mullah used their religion, Islam, to manipulate the people to be against women's education.
Is this possible from an economic view? It is. At work, women receive violence from men. Men will mentally and physically and psychologically harass a woman at work. And the labor force rate in Pakistan is 22.6%. This is one of the lowest in the world. And this is founded by the King and Aziz. And this is due to restrictions faced by women from the male member of the family, found in Malik and Samia. A woman's salary is taken by a male member of the family. So for women to get like money for themselves, they must do extra work or borrow money so they can get money. When you empower a woman, you empower the nation. This quote means that it will help your nation develop. So if you get women more jobs and education, then your nation will be like better.
Is it possible from a religious point of view? Women are constantly seen as the second sex due to Pakistan's religion. The religion consists of Muslims, Hinduism, and Christianity. Men think that they should be in total control. Women leave their education to marry men. If not, the women are seen as disrespectful. Women are intended to marry men as young as 18 years old. The women's jobs are to clean, cook, and watch their children, all while the men go to work. Violence towards women are scary due to the Taliban having no limits when it comes to destroying schools and buildings. Threats towards teachers, universities, schools, elementary schools, etc. are scary. These scary intimidations come from the Taliban. Sometimes the students and teachers have no choice but to leave the situation and flee. Unfair laws. The government has yet to make laws to protect women's education. Many are upset about this due to the women having graduate level education. The percentage of this is 23%. This source was provided by Sonia Munir. This problem is caused by leaving school earlier than intended.
Is this possible from an ethical view? So with family beliefs and their ideals about how girls should be in education, when girls are born, they're seen as a symbol of disgrace from the father's perspective. According to a World Bank blog, some families don't even believe in sending their children to school at all, as it was shown that 26% of girls in Pakistan have never been to school. There's also the issue with family marriage, as 21% of girls under the age of 18 are forced into child marriage. Some families see this as a way to help their girls have a better future than actually send them to school. They can just use it for money if they're really poor. There's also the problem with lack of government effort. Some of the teachers in Pakistan feel as if the government has not done anything to help their situation, and they've just been there by themselves. Women's location in Pakistan have a very big effect on them. Rural Pakistan population is 2/3 of the population compared to urban, which is 1/3 of the population. According to Jabbar ul Haq, who said that 7.6 million girls in rural areas go to school compared to 6.7 million in urban, while only making up half of the population.
All right, our solutions are to prevent corruption and peaceful protests. So what I mean by that, I mean, we have to create actual accountable methods of battling corruption, because they already have laws to protect women, they're just corrupted by either through threatening or bribing. And then we also have peaceful protests to protest the Taliban and hopefully to actually get the government involved.
So the pros and cons of corruption prevention would be, the pros would be this stops the terrorists from running free and doing just whatever they want, like blowing up schools and all that. This lays the groundwork for future government programs that will actually help education and women instead of just leaving them in the spot they are now. This also starts a proper counter-terrorist organization or campaign that will stop the government from helping the terrorists and hiding them. The cons to this would be that with new politicians, they could always fall back into being corrupt again. This has been seen many times before whenever they put new politicians in to try to fix the problem of corruption. It just happened again, they fall back into corruption. There's always been an issue with corruption in the government. Another con would be that even when the government isn't corrupt, the Taliban rule just won't immediately end. They'll still have to use weapons and soldiers to combat the issue.
Pros and cons for peaceful protest. Pros, placing terrorists as aggressors. Placing terrorists as aggressors because they actively try to harm or hurt others. Leaves room for logical argument. This leaves room for discussion and debate. Cons, many people may die. Many people may die because of the protests and just simply having a different opinion about the terrorists and Taliban themselves. This may not pressure government enough. This could go unseen and unheard by the government, which would just be a complete waste of time.
Some limitations for our solutions are the patriarchal government. The government only consists of men, so if a woman wants to be in the government, then they have to get an education, which will most likely not happen because men will create laws against it and won't let it happen. And then another limitation is peaceful protests can occur. So there might be riots or different things like destruction, and the women might not get what they want because if they protest, the protest might not be successful.
All right, we also have the fact that the government can take control of the media. They did this in the 70s, and this can allow through government censorship and a kind of consider a communist sort of way of taking care of people that don't agree with the government. And then same thing goes with the government controlling 1/3 of the businesses through monopolization and the fact that they have government funding. They could just take over the entire economy. And now you have a communist empire that can be run by a single person and has no end.
Thanks for your time.
All right, let's answer some questions. All right, Savannah, describe an argument from one of your peers' individual reports that made you think differently about your team's solution or conclusion.
Okay, so some of Vince's arguments in his paper were like stopping corruption and peaceful protest, and this really played a big role in the solution. And the protests, if they're not peaceful, then they'll be very unpeaceful and rioting. And then he spoke about corruption, and corruption in the government was very bold in his paper.
All right, thanks. All right, Jonathan, if you had another team member, what other perspectives or limitations could they have researched that would have made a useful contribution to the project?
I feel like a good perspective that we could have used would have been scientific. We actually tried to use this in the beginning, but we ended up scrapping it. But I feel like it had a lot of additional things that you could add to it. We used statistics, but not as much as I feel like we could have. I felt like we could have done more about the percentage of girls in education and how the government the numbers that the government does for education, and I feel like it could have really helped add on to our argument and help back it up more.
All right. Vince, reflecting on your colleagues' work, which one had the greatest impact on your overall understanding of the problem that your group identified?
I would say that Savannah's paper impacted my perception the most. It was very informative. It provided a lot of arguments, not arguments per se, but a lot of perspectives, and it truly helped shape what our solutions were and how we viewed the issue.
All right. Gianni. Let's see. Give one specific way that your thinking changed as a result of learning about Savannah's findings.
Savannah's paper helped me with more percentages of women's education. I think that her paper really opened my eyes to see how many women are affected by this problem. Her paper also talked about women's jobs and how they cannot get them because of their low education. So this just kind of opened my eyes more to numbers per se than in her paper.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.